Hi everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we'll go over price indices and inflation. Let's get started. First, you'll need to understand some important definitions. Inflation is the general rising of prices in a market or economy over time. Deflation is the general decrease of prices in a market or economy over time. Disinflation is a decrease in the rate of inflation. The prices are still rising but at a slower rate. For example, if the inflation rate was 5% last year and it's now 3%, that means that disinflation occurred. Next, we'll talk about nominal versus real variables. Nominal variables are not adjusted for inflation while real variables are adjusted for inflation and therefore are more accurate when comparing variables. That means the difference between nominal and real values is inflation. The Consumer Price Index or CPI is the most commonly used price index to measure inflation. CPI measures the change in the cost of a fixed basket of goods and services over time. The formula for CPI is the cost of the basket in the given year divided by the cost of the basket in the base year times 100. Let's see an example of calculating CPI. Suppose in an economy, the basket of goods only contains cakes, bread, and pie, and their quantities remain unchanged between 2000 and 2010, and 2000 is the base year. In order to calculate CPI, we must find the cost of the basket of goods during each year. The cost of the basket in the base year is $37, and since 2000 is the base year, its basket value is also $37. So the CPI of 2000 is 100. The CPI of the base year is always 100. The basket value in 2010 is $49. So the CPI of 2010 would be about 132. The inflation rate is the percent change in price level across an entire economy in 1 year, and it's determined by calculating the percentage change in a price index, such as CPI. The formula for the inflation rate is the new CPI minus the old CPI divided by the old CPI times 100. Using the CPI values from earlier, we get 32% inflation over those 10 years. CPI is not a perfect measurement of inflation and has its limitations or bias. One limitation is substitution bias. If the price of a good in the basket increases significantly, consumers may switch to a similar but cheaper good, but the CPI doesn't account for this substitution behavior, overstating inflation. Quality change bias is when the quality of a good improves over time, the price may increase, but the CPI may not fully account for this quality improvement, leading to an overestimation of inflation. Finally, new goods bias occurs when new products entering the market are not immediately included in the CPI basket, meaning their price changes are not reflected until later updates, potentially underestimating inflation. Now let's discuss the impacts or costs of inflation that affects our society. One large impact is the loss of purchasing power that occurs when inflation causes the value of the individual dollar to decrease over time. This means that fewer goods and services can be bought with the same amount of money. For example, if a gallon of milk used to cost $2 and now costs $3, your purchasing power has decreased because you can buy less milk with the same dollar amount. Many people think inflation within an economy hurts everyone, but that isn't true. Inflation hurts some people and helps others. Let's see who is hurt and helped by inflation. People on fixed incomes, like retired citizens, will be hurt by unexpected inflation as they do not have the ability to earn more money to pay for higher prices. Savers are hurt as well since their money becomes worth less over time. Lenders and bankers that lend at a fixed interest rate also lose when there's unexpected inflation as borrowers pay back loans with less valuable dollars or fewer real dollars. On the other hand, borrowers with fixed interest rate benefit from unexpected inflation as it reduces the real value of the debt and they pay back with less valuable dollars. For example, if you take out a loan at 10% interest when the expected rate of inflation is 2%, you're expected to pay a real interest rate of 8%. If the actual inflation rate ends up being 7%, then you will pay back the loan with less valuable money and the real interest rate you pay will be just 3% instead of the expected 8%. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching and make sure to like and subscribe. We hope to see you soon.